Welcome to a USC Libraries tutorial on Citing in AMA Style 11th edition. The American Medical Association, or AMA, is a professional physician association who publishes a Journal of the American Medical Association, or JAMA, and specialty journals in the JAMA network. The AMA Manual of Style is created by AMA to provide guidelines for all aspects of formatting and writing style. Its primary intended users are people submitting manuscripts to JAMA journals and editors of JAMA journals who produce the publications. The USC Libraries license the AMA Manual of Style online. The important thing to note about this manual is that it covers how to format everything in a manuscript for submission to JAMA. Chapter 1 explains what types of research articles JAMA accepts. Chapter 4 explains how to prepare photos, illustrations, and other visual materials in your manuscript in order to submit to JAMA and fit the rules and restrictions of their printers. If you're using AMA citation style alone, not AMA manuscript format, you could ignore all of the chapters except for 3, references. This chapter explains what kind of information needs to be cited in manuscripts submitted to JAMA and explains JAMA's opinions about the purpose and role of referencing. The first purpose of citing, according to AMA, is to allow a reader of your document to understand that you did not create this idea, figure, or number, but found it in another source. The second purpose is that there will be a full reference that includes enough information to allow a reader to retrieve the item. The basic rules for providing a reference in AMA style are to include superscript Arabic numerals next to the text taken or paraphrased from another source, or the figure, box, or table that includes the information that you did not create but borrowed from another source. At the end of the document, include a reference list that has full bibliographic citations for each cited item in numerical order, the order in which they appear in the text. AMA citation style is the extensive rules about how to format these references in the reference list. The rules encompass 3 major areas: what information elements to include about an item, the names of the authors, the title of the book or journal, the name of the publisher, to include a DOI or URL, how to style these elements using italics, bold, underlining, or abbreviations, how to connect elements with periods, commas, or other diacritical marks. Because there are hundreds of ways to publish information that could be cited in a JAMA journal, the AMA Manual Chapter 3 is 60 pages long, and the majority of these pages provide rules and examples of citations to a variety of publication formats. The manual is really confusing to use for a few reasons. It's organized in a confusing manner. At the start of the chapter, it provides standard rules about all elements in citations. Here are the rules about how to list names of authors in all citations in AMA style. There are 4 pages of instructions about how to find and write authors' names, including a long section about how many authors to include in the reference list based on the number of authors of the paper, and how to manage surnames that consist of multiple words. The explanation for these rules are not repeated in the 55 pages following where example citations are shown. Instead, they are just shown as examples. Here's a sample citation from later in the manual showing an example using these author names. They expect that you will either read these preceding sections and memorize them, or flip back and forth through the manual in order to complete a citation following as many of the basic rules and specific rules as possible. The manual's editors consider the manual to be illustrating a range of possibilities that can be selected by the writer to allow the reader to find the cited item. Many examples show a minimum standard, the fewest number of elements that could be included to make a citation in quote AMA style, and a maximum standard for the same reference, an exhaustive list of all the potential elements that could theoretically be included if needed in order to allow a reader to find the original source. The manual expects you to make a lot of decisions about the item you are citing. If you're citing a person whose last name consists of multiple words, you need to figure out what they prefer and write it as they prefer. I'm not actually sure how anyone would be supposed to do this. I guess look up the author on social media and try to figure it out. You also need to look at the article you're trying to cite and decide if it has a subtitle. You also need to know if it came out online first or in print first in order to determine whether to include only the year of publication or more precise information like the month and day of publication. You get to decide if a supplement number is pertinent. Unfortunately, you sort of have to read all of Chapter 3 carefully several times and make some judgment calls to be able to cite successfully following as many rules as possible for AMA citation style. This also means that there is no one single way to make a perfect AMA citation. This subjective judgment is also why all tools that claim to make AMA citations will all generate citations that look a little different from each other. Because of the complexity of the manual, I highly recommend using a source that summarizes some of Chapter 3 of the manual. This AMA 11th edition research guide from the USC Libraries was created by a librarian reading the manual and doing their best to create some example citations to publication types commonly used in student writing at USC. To use this guide to successfully format a citation in AMA style, follow these steps. First, identify what kind of item you are citing. Is it an article, a book or chapter in a book, a website, or something else? Second, identify how you access the item. Is it a print item you held in your hands, or an electronic item you viewed on a screen? If the item type and access method is covered on this guide, use the general format and worked examples and data from your item to make your own citation. After creating an initial citation, review the basic formatting rules for AMA, either from the manual or at the top of this guide, and make more changes to finalize your citation. If I wanted to cite this article, I would first identify this as a journal article, then one I read online. Now I can use the online journal article example rules to copy and paste information from the full text of the journal article, which includes almost all the elements I need to make a citation in AMA style. I need to find the authors, and the example shows me to list 3. Now I need to format them correctly, the author's last name or family name, a space, then their initial or initials representing what I believe to be their given names. Put a comma between author names. I'll add the second author, then the third author, following the same rules for how to format their names. Now the title of the paper. I'm choosing to include this subtitle. Next comes the journal title. The journal title is supposed to be in italic, so I'll italicize this. Next, add the year, the volume, the issue, and the full page numbers or e-locator, connecting these with colons and periods as instructed in the examples. Looks like this journal does not use page numbers, but a single electronic locator number, so I'll use this. I viewed this online and there is a DOI, so here's how I format that element. Now I have a basic citation that I think is correct. Time to review the general AMA formatting rules. The paper I want to cite has 7 authors. In AMA style rules, I need to add the first 3 author names and add et al. To indicate there are more than 7 authors. It also says I need an abbreviated journal title. My paper only includes the full title. I need to find the abbreviation and can do this in the National Library of Medicine catalog available through the same system as PubMed. In reviewing the rest of the general formatting rules and comparing them to my sample citation, I judge that I'm following these, so I don't need to make any more changes. Now I have a citation to an online journal article in AMA style that I could put into a reference list. You can use the same process to make citations to other materials listed on this guide. Regardless of what type of item you are citing, the item itself will have the information needed to cite it. Now that all the references have been placed into proper format, complete the manuscript or document. The first citation in your document will be marked with a superscript 1 and will appear as number 1 on your reference list. If you reference the same item again later in the document, include the same number 1. The second item referenced in your document is assigned as second in the list. Continue in this manner until all information you did not create is indicated in the document by superscript numerals. Because of the elements of choice inherent in so many parts of citing an AMA style, libraries are not able to create references for you or verify the accuracy of AMA style references you have created or found. You can contact the libraries to get help with other aspects of citing and referencing, like determining what type of publication an item is, help figuring out the elements of a reference, or where to find DOIs, title abbreviations, and other information needed to create a reference in AMA style.